And welcome everybody back to the Dumbass class with me, the Dyslexic Gamer, as we carry on our tabletop RPG series, A Toast to the God Emperor's Light, episode 10. So, last time, our adventurers, wrong term, our inquisitorial agents. Jazina, have you got push to talk on?
No. Should I switch to push to talk?
Yeah, white noise is coming through a lot.
Always
push the talk on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's just when I'm talking, I can hear white noise coming from your mic.
God, sorry.
So let us. The moment he finally fixes his cogitator, let's get back to our resident group of retards and dumbasses and murder hobos.
So, last time, the group had actually broken up or helped defuse an argument between the Ministorum and the Telepathica. They had got some useful information, and then they had gone about their business. About half of the party had gone down to the Ministorum's, let's call it a cathedral, and the recruiting halls for the Sisters Sororitas. And the rest of the party had gone to the Adeptus Administratum building to pick up their newly acquired gear and to find accommodation for themselves. You all have, or you all will have, a work roster for tomorrow. However, you are given a few hours of today to get accustomed to the can't speak today, to get accustomed to your new surroundings. So we will start off with Alexa and Amanda. You have just found your bunks. Actually, you're in the same room, so you found the room that you were given. Inside it's very Spartan, but there is a locker each, and there are a bed, and the name leaves me. The God Emperor's Bible is sat there in pride of place as well.
The Imperial Creed, you mean?
The Imperial Creed.
Ooh. I guess I'll read the book while I wait.
I mean, once I've dropped my stuff off and done some prayers, because there's an Imperial Creed in my room, I need to pray that the Emperor protects my stuff while it's stored here.
I'll make a small prayer because although I'm a crusader, I tend to give praise to my religion through combat, not through only prayers. So I'll just leave the stuff in my room and wait for Alexa, because this is her turf.
And then I'm gonna go be nice, introduce myself, make myself known in the general sense, because I gotta know who I'm working with, and they gotta know they're working with me. And Amanda. Can't forget that they're working with Amanda.
Yep.
Okay, so do you want to roll me your fellowship? This is just for as you're going around introducing yourself.
Does
You
peer
can
apply?
Yes, you can apply your peer, and you can have a +10 because you're from this background world-wise.
I'm gonna fake that.
Should I roll a fellowship too? I hope not.
No, you don't need to. Okay, so as you go round, you introduce yourself. There do seem to be a few off-world trainers. You definitely get the feeling that these people they kind of look down on people who came from this world, but you're charismatic enough that you break the ice with them. So you've gone round with with Amanda introducing her and playing up your role. So was there anything you can, by all means, you can look around the facility. You have like a dormitory room for trainers, for personnel, and then you have a very large. This is almost like a homeless shelter bunk room. The bunk beds, you also notice, actually have 3 high. They seem to have crammed another bed in there somehow. If this is up to the Mechanicus standards, who knows? There are a lot of children here. Far too many for you to actually count, as they all run round and do what children do. You do see that they are all seemingly doing chores. They're all doing something, like running buckets of water up or down the corridors, or polishing floors, wiping down dust, as well as doing you go through areas that appear to be classrooms, and they seem to be teaching the children something that you would know very well, Alexa. Basically, they're teaching them the knowledge that they will need to go further in the Sisters Sororitas.
So the Imperial Creed and how to strip a las pistol.
No, this is far more the because the Sororitas have such a large basis. Like, they have combat, they have medical, they have scribes, they also have some engineers, to a very small degree. So this is very much, they're getting a baseline education so that they're not thick as shit, like the rest of the community, like the rest of the people surrounding, and most guardsmen.
And me.
No, you would be very much the same privileged. You can do maths, you can do, there are baseline intelligent things that the sisters would teach you, as a member of the privileged chosen. Yes, because you would have spent your childhood with them, so it would be very much a similar state of affair. You would also note that as you walk around, it's quite a large complex. For us, it's quite a large complex. In the game, it's probably small. But you do see training rooms where there are training mats down, and there are children there learning hand-to-hand combat techniques, and are building their physical fitness. And you can definitely get the idea that this area is testing the children. The sisters who are watching over the children do have data slates in hand, and you do see, as you take a moment to watch the children as you see that they are definitely being recorded on the data slate. And then, so what have we done? We've done the dorms, so you come back round to the canteen area. Again, this is a large college, university style. It's a big area. Actually, that's probably a prison style. There's a lot of picnic bench style tables down, very Spartan, comfort wise, but at the same time you see a lot of children happily enjoying a warm meal. I think that's pretty much all the areas that this facility would have. Was there anything else you'd like to know or explore in this area?
Can I get a feel for how, the sisters and that lot think, what they think of the guy in charge of the planet and of the peasants outside and all that lot?
Sure. Roll me, I believe it's Scrutiny Fellowship.
I have Inquiry.
Inquiry Fellowship, that's the one.
And I can use pair for this, right?
Yes, you are in a sisters complex.
Well, fate. I just can't get a good roll today.
It seems like you're the everyone's quite busy. It's almost perhaps there's been a flood of new initiates chosen from the planet's inhabitants, and all the sisters appear to be quite busy and doing things, and you only get very quick answers. So it was, how do they feel about the planetary governor? You don't really get a response. It's a nonchalance, he stays out the way. To how do the peasants feel for the sisters, as they should, is, basically the only answer you really get.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a person of the people, and the people don't want to listen.
They're a little bit too busy today, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I'll leave it be.
Okay. So as we leave, Sister Alexa and Amanda. I don't know what your rank was, Amanda. Was it Captain, Corporal? Corporal Amanda sounds quite good.
I think it was Sergeant, but Corporal was the second one after Private. I don't know.
Sergeant.
I'll leave it up to you.
Sergeant Amanda. We leave you as we check on the other three members of your party. Diogenes, Jenny, and Ghost. You all come to your sleeping area. You would note that Diogenes has been put in his own room. Oh no, hang on. Sorry, no, because there was the Mechanicus. So Jenny's been put in her own room, whereas Ghost and Diogenes have been put in the same room.
I am so happy because this makes just not my problem.
Well, this is awkward.
Again, the rooms are... So actually, as you go into these rooms, you would note that they're slightly finer than you would expect. The chairs are all made of wood. They're all far more comfortable. They actually have not a cushion. They're not that luxurious, but they have a bit of... they're suspended by cloth, so you're not sat on a hard seat. The dresser, you have a dresser in your room. You have cabinets. There's even a wash basin, not plumbed in. It has a basin, a jug full of water. But on a hive world, this would be quite fancy. It might just be because this world has the resources.
I made no note of it, and I probably arrived a little bit before Ghost does, just because I walked off without them, and then they caught up.
Yes, I caught up to you, and I'm just following you.
Sure.
I'll
that's fine.
probably instigate no interactions.
I will instigate an interaction. Diogenes, would you prefer for me to talk in this voice, or would you prefer me to use my regular voice? This is straining my vocal cords, but if it is for the operation, I am willing to go on with it.
I just sort of slowly raise my eyebrows and open my mouth a little bit to be like, so your choice, man.
Yeah, thank you, Diogenes. This is far less training for my voice.
I'll just sort of nod slowly and then ignore him and go about what I was doing anyway. Which is reading, as you should know.
I take one look over your shoulder at what you're reading, and then I'm like,
I feel like hide it as you try and look at it to be like, which one?
I'm like, yes, probably not interesting. Where is my guard duty roster?
I would like to go to the Telepathica place and ask them about the murderers, because Apparently, the people that were murdered, at least one of the people that were murdered, was of the Telepathica or apprentice in the Telepathica. So they should know some things.
Sure, you can do that.
Also, is it possible that I get a copy of the building schematics just so I can memorize it, or at least attempt to?
So yes, you can get the plans for the building. You would note that it's a standard construct. It's not template design, but it is a standard construct that is exactly the same. It may have less flaws because it's not as big as other ones on Hive Worlds, but you could pretty much navigate the place quite easily. Miss Jenny, are you going around? Are you going there on your own?
I'm going to inform my colleagues of my intentions. Whether they want to go or not is a different matter altogether. I would insist that Diogenes doesn't stay alone, though.
Wait, would you do this in front of me or?
Oh yes, I have no problem expressing my wish that you are not left alone because you are too dangerous to be left alone.
I'll sort of raise an eyebrow at you and dangerous.
Yes, dangerous.
Also,
you do all have your schedules for tomorrow. This is still the same day, so you have like the afternoon, evening to explore your surroundings, and then tomorrow you'll need to work.
Okay. I'm just going to dump what stuff I have in the room that I share with Diogenes then. Make sure that the only weapon I have on me is my regular sword. Wrap myself a bit more in my cloak. Then think another time about the weaponry. Also grab my pistol. Put it on my back behind me so the cloak relatively well conceals it unless somebody searches me.
It will take
And then I
a
leave
full
the building.
action to draw your
I
pistol
am
if you're going to put it on
completely
your
fine
back.
with that.
If you put it
I'm
on the
completely fine with that.
holster, okay, fair enough. I was going to say if you put it on the holster,
I'm fine. I'm fine
Okay.
with it taking a full action, and then I just leave the building to go scout the surroundings.
Okay, sure. Jenny, just before that happens, because you'll all be in the same corridor, would you put it to the group that you're going to the
Yes,
telepathica?
yes, I would.
Would either of you go with her?
That would be interesting. I'll join you at first, but I will not guarantee I will also stay.
Well, honestly, in that case, I would prefer you keep an eye on Diogenes.
Oh no, otherwise I was gonna do some scouting. Unless you can promise me a cybernetic arm.
Can't promise. Maybe?
Ooh. Okay, I shall keep eye on him. Diogenes, we are going to Telepathica. And I just start pulling Diogenes' arm.
I'll probably just sort of like slowly fall over and just be like, fine, we'll let it happen. And then if he eventually stops dragging me, I'll get up and dust myself off and follow him.
So, as the three of you make your way down, out of the Adeptus Administratum building, you make your way to the Telepathica building. This is on the opposite. So the way that it kind of works is you have the Administratum building in the middle, and on the right hand side you have the Telepathica down the street, and on the left hand side down the street is the Ministorum Cathedral. So you go right, you head towards quite a grand looking building, but it looks far more defensive. It has high walls, and this is definitely not a cathedral. This is definitely a militaristic yet well designed to be pleasing to the eye. And it's almost as if you're not sure if the walls are built to keep people out or to stop people from coming in, or to stop people from getting out. The way that the walls are built as you approach, they almost lean over, and you see, to Jenny, this is quite a surprise to you. You see two knights in full armor, in full plate armor. They have their helms down, and it's almost like a story from old Terra. It's a very peculiar sight to see these knights, especially for you. Actually, and Diogenes. This would be a very odd sight. I'm not sure. It might be a bit odd for Ghost saying that.
Ghost has seen people in all manners of armor to protect themselves from whatever was stalking on the streets at night or outside the city. So probably some dude randomly has had some scrap-made feudal armor plates, but probably not as fancy looking.
So, as we'll go slightly back a bit, I did forget something as I was looking at my notes. As you leave the building, can everyone make me a awareness test? Is it awareness? Yes, awareness test, flat. Jenny. There was that cherubim. Where's that gone? You look up into the sky for a few moments. Your eyes adjust to the bright sky, and as the sun has fallen slightly, it doesn't take you as long to find it. It's circling something far down to the left. Seems to have found something, but you're not quite sure. It does quite a large circular flight path, but it's definitely stopped doing its search pattern that it was doing before. Is Jenny still with us?
Yeah. I heard that the cherub was gone.
Okay. So you arrive at the Telepathica building, and you see the knights. As you approach, one of them walks forwards to meet whoever wishes to speak to him.
That would be myself, I guess, and let Ghost steps forward.
You could force Diogenes.
I simply step forward and state, "Greetings. The Lady Mechanicus would like to ask a few questions to some members of the telepathica. If that can be arranged.
Well, do you have an appointment?
I turn around.
No, but tell your master that the mechanicus from the plaza wishes to enter. He will know what I speak of.
The knight looks at the other knight. He turns around and kind of shrugs his shoulders, and you do see a bit of an odd sight. The knight puts his hand under his helm and touches something on his neck.
Microbeats. Brilliant.
It appears to be a lower tech. It's one of the ones that goes around your neck, and you have a neck on-off. And he places... Well, technically, your characters can't see this. He just puts his hand under his helm onto his neck. They're allowed to enter. Well, very well, Tech Priest. You may enter with your compatriots. They step. Well, the knight steps back into position as you see a. What would it be? It's a ceramite. Is it ceramite steel? I think it is. It's a ceramite steel gate. Huge, heavy bars that are raised up. It is very similar to a castle's gate, but the materials are definitely of modern imperial creation. You walk through the gatehouse, and you're led into a large courtyard. There are several areas in this courtyard that have been marked out with white stones, and you can see several students, several people within the courtyard. You recognise at least the man who put out the flames. You can see that he's with one group, talking to them. And as you look towards the end, it's like a small stone, stones either side, on a gravel surface. They're clearly doing training techniques of some sort, but not anything you're familiar with. As you look up, you do see what was his name? You do see the leader of the Telepathica, the man you spoke to, Gallic.
I'm gonna approach Master Galliac then. Excuse me, Master Galliac? I don't believe we were introduced properly.
Greetings, Tech Priest. It's well, there are not many of your kind here. I'd be remiss not to remember you. Yes, it is Galliac. And yours?
Tech Priest Jenny Lanius.
It's a pleasure. How can I assist you?
Well, to be honest, I thought I should check upon my patient. I still consider her as such. But I must admit, my curiosity has been piqued. When I arrived, this whole incident on the plaza, they were screaming about murders, and what was that all about?
Well, there have been issues on this world of late. And unfortunately, those who are less educated and more fanatical in their beliefs are naive enough to believe that it is an internal threat.
I must ask, as part of the security escort, is this potentially anything related to a potential cult? That is an outside threat?
By the way, I'll be writing down this entire conversation while it's happening.
Okay.
Can I make a test so he doesn't notice it, or
I really need like a servo skull auto-scribe.
So you can do a sleight of hand to hide it. However, it's a bit difficult when you're typing on a data slate. If you did a sleight of hand, you'd basically be doing it underneath, like behind your back, typing.
I'm pretty much like most of the time I'm holding it anyway, but I want to just sort of be holding it in front of my chest, like have the other hand sort of like typing on it as it's sort of where I normally keep it and look down occasionally.
Sure, you can give me a sleight of hand if you want to do it hiddenly. If you just want to RP it doing that, then you can. It just won't stop him from seeing it.
I'm just like punching it.
Now the question is he facing it?
Oh god, 100.
Because at the point where he might actually break the data slate.
So
It is of good quality though.
as you're typing away on your data slate, you believe you're being incredibly stealthy, just peeking up every now and then and typing away with the tips of your fingers. You think, yeah, he's not noticing this at all, right? But if I just you start walking to try and get yourself in a better position. Maybe if Ghost can just cover you, so you can and you step on one of the stones that's aligned along the path to designate the walking area and the training area, and your foot slips in a way that's really awkward, and you fall. Give me an agility test to keep yourself upright as you basically twist your ankle on a rock.
Do I
At
need
least I
to,
wasn't 100.
do I need to try to catch you?
You spin round and you slip and catch your ankle and then spin round and into a seated position on the floor. Everyone's looking at you as your data slate hits the floor.
I just start back.
Are you okay?
Back to
there?
my question. He has his antics. Do not pay him any mind. He is
I'll just sort of
merely-
clear my throat and awkwardly pick that up and then just go back to typing normally.
As you look
See?
round, there are many students looking at you like, what the fuck?
Anyways, back to my previous question about the possible security threats to the lady here.
I am quite capable of taking care of my own security. Thank you.
Cult activity. Yes.
I'm sorry,
give
my
me a
bodyguards
fellowship
tend to be a
scrutiny.
bit
Give me a fellowship scrutiny.
overzealous with those things.
Stop talking, please, Izina. I can't hear this.
Sorry.
Fellowship scrutiny.
Fellowship scrutiny from any of you, any and all.
Okay.
Well, obviously not the two who were there.
I
Oh,
fellowship
God.
scrutiny from halfway across the planet.
I had a feeling in my stomach.
Yes.
Not quite.
I
you
almost
nearly
fucking
passed.
passed.
I am gonna give you that. I'm gonna.
Wow.
I'm just
Ghost,
looking at
as-
this and am I the only person with scrutiny?
Yes.
9,
Yeah.
5, and 11.
Ghost. As he says the next sentence, you can tell he's definitely lying. Cult activity. No, there's been no cult activity on this world.
I step slightly further forward. Are you certain?
He looks at you, Jenny, and then he looks back at Ghost, and then back at you, Jenny. Tech Priest, what clearance does your guard have, and how much do you know about? And he gestures to the area, this facility?
I just
He is not trained or knowledgeable in the ways of your order.
I am, however, trained in what cults are and what they could potentially. I lean in a bit closer and then say, worship.
I'll raise my hand and just go, me too. And then like,
Gradually, roll to see.
I have forbidden law heresy.
Never mind.
He looks at you, and he, as you say, well, what you said, Ghost, he does have a surprised look on his face, and well then, I choose my words carefully. Given that this world has produced many of those who work within the Telepathica, it also means that this world runs a much higher risk of problems arising. It is down to us to attempt to stop these things from happening. There are times when someone who uses one of our powers around the wrong types of people, then issues can arise, but we are constantly vigilant of anything of the sort. So, whilst I cannot, and I should not have said that there is no cult activity, there at least is no active cult activity. No one would be foolish enough to do anything in the open here, not with, and he gestures at the did you get his name? I think you did get his name. Nikolai, the member who could control fire. There are those here who are trained to protect against such things.
Very well. You do not believe them to be behind the disappearances.
And sorry, I should have, just to remind you again, this is he's blindfolded. His eyes are completely covered.
Yeah, that one I remember. The fire guy was not an astropath,
Yeah.
but he was, right?
Yeah, he is. So the murders. Well, I do not believe it is a cult activity. It would be foolish for them to attempt to assault two of the most powerful organizations on this planet.
Considering what I have seen so far from their assaults, is that they are trying to set you up against each other. That is hardly foolish.
There have been other murders. This is a feudal world, after all. But the people are scared of something. Perhaps it's just a crazed murderer chopping people up. Perhaps it is organized. We have seen no evidence for it to be organized. Those who were taken beforehand, any number of murderers or rapists would have killed them. The only time it escalated was when Navara was killed. And then, of course, Rihanna. It is Rihanna. Rihanna of the Ministorum. When she was murdered or taken, that's when things erupted.
I must say they appear to be far too high-profile targets for just a random murder. I am familiar with their mindset.
Does this Rihanna from the Ministorum, was she by chance latent?
No. We had one of our, I believe Nikolai or Alice, when the people began talking of her sainthood, we thought it best to inquire at the very least. We felt no connection from her, so we paid it no mind. We allowed the people to think whatever the Ministorum would allow, and well,
Have they looked similar?
no. Navara was beautiful. She had a golden heart, truly blessed by the Emperor himself. She had a way with the people that was unmatched. You tell when he speaks of her, there's deep emotion there. He knew her personally, perhaps intimately, perhaps not. She was a healer of great renown on this world. She would do all she could to help, not just with her powers. She was her hobbies include botany. She believed that if she could teach the people to help themselves, that, well, Rihanna I knew little of. I knew her name. I knew she was, again, a beautiful woman, as all saints, female saints, seem to be, but I didn't know the character.
So, how long after the word of her potential sainthood started was she killed?
Sorry, can you say that again, Jacina?
How long after the rumors of her sainthood started was she killed?
He thinks for a long moment. Perhaps 4 weeks or so. I'm not entirely sure exactly when the date was. The Adeptus Ministorum building would probably have that on file. I imagine old Quintilius would have sent messages off immediately.
This is really worrying. Do you have any inkling who could have done that?
It's difficult to say. These two people, they had no one who would hold a grudge against them. That is why I'm remiss to put the blame on any one organization. A madman with an agenda, quite possibly. But the amount of turmoil this has kicked up. There have been many innocent civilians who were beaten, stoned, tarred and feathered for their lack of faith, for their support in the Telepathica, for having too much faith in areas that support the Telepathica. There have been many wounded and many injured just in civil unrest, in the people arguing and fighting and bickering. But these are all reasons why I believe that a cult or an organised attack it doesn't make much logic. Everyone's on more alert.
Perhaps to raise a bit more chaos.
Dun dun dun.
He gives you a sideways, like, he's talking to Jenny, but he stares at you.
Question. Do we even know that chaos exists?
No, this was just like
So it was just
chaos in a general sense.
Yeah, this was. I know how Ghost was wording it, and the Telepathica guy knows that.
Okay, so you meant chaos by
Panic.
with a small c, not the capital C.
Yeah.
Yeah, panic and turmoil and upheaval, and not the hello there, bend over.
This is the chaos with the small c that leads to the chaos with the big C.
I just give Baldric, is that what we call you now? I just give him like a very stern look, like, if you keep acting like this, I may have to reconsider your augmentations.
I will shut up, miss.
Thank you.
If I catch on, I'll just have a big smirk and just keep looking between both of you while continuing to type.
My apologies for him. He's not exactly great in social situations.
So is there anything else I can do to assist you, Tech Priest?
No, thank you. I'll check on the patient now. I am sorry to trouble you. I must admit my curiosity is somewhat of a flaw of character. I do hope this all comes to a peaceful between the Imperial organization's resolution.
Well, hopefully Quintilius will calm his anger and will preach to his flock the values of reason. That is what I pray for at the moment, at the very least. But yes, Alice, she is he looks over to one of the students. Well, he looks over all the students, and as you follow his gaze around, you notice that...
Which is kind of difficult since he has a blindfold.
Well, no, so his head, his face.
Yeah,
He's looking around the entire what did I call this, courtyard, and you notice that most of the students, well, all the students in fact, are deep in meditation or prayer, or you're not entirely sure. But as you get further around, you notice that there's one student, and as you look at Gallic, you see that his head has stopped turning. He's now focused fully on this one student. Malarian, you never pay attention to your classes anyway. Come here and show them to Alice, will you, in the medical bay. The student. Sorry, sir. Do it now. Yes, right away. This way, please, Tech Priest. A youngish student. He's probably about 17, 18. shaved head in very simple imperial robes. In this,
I will start to follow them, but then for a second turn to Gali, I'm gonna say, it would appear that the acolytes of our two organizations are not at all unsimilar. Out of character. Fuck, that was really strangely worded.
he smiles and, well, we all are humans after all, Tech Priest.
That we are.
You were led into the actual body of the building, down a very again, this is a very militaristic corridor. In fact, like, although it's painted white and it looks very nice, you can see where there are defensive points facing both ways. This is a very odd setup. Normally you wouldn't have a defensive point that could be used from either side, because that would give your enemy an opportunity to use it against you. But for some reason in this building, in the very bowels of the building, that's what you begin to come across. And as
You can curve lightning around the corners, so
well, as you come past these defensive points, you come and you begin to see signage leading you to different areas. You are very clearly being led to the medic bay. However, you do see that there are other suppression cells, holding cells. There do appear to be areas where people that the Telepathica have an interest in are possibly housed. But you're brought to the medical bay. It's quite small for how big the building is. There are far more tables than there are medical equipment. You'd pick up on that quite. Actually, you're not a chirurgeon, are you? Or
I
are you?
am a chirurgeon.
You are a chirurgeon.
A
So yeah,
superior one, in fact.
so you would pick up on that. There are far too many medical beds with room to have, it's missing the equipment. It's got everything there, but there's no equipment. But then there are still 3 beds that have all the equipment around that you would need.
So would that be like they can literally turn half a room into a morgue any second, or is it like, yeah, those are for the people that need to stay under, but there is no equipment to do that? So can I roll Medicaid to figure it out?
You can roll me intelligence, because actually no, it was said out of character, not in character. No, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't be able to.
Okay.
You could ask someone. You do see the smiling face of Alice, sat in one of the beds. She has bandages wrapped around her feet. You can see that there is some seepage coming through the bandages.
Now, when were these bandages last changed? I should have never let you out of my care, I say, and I'm going to try and change the bandages.
Oh, we meet again, Tech Priest. Well, I'm afraid I couldn't help but stop one of the children from doing something silly, and you were quite right. I should have not have put any weight on the soles of my feet. I think I may have burst one of the blisters.
I swear to the Omnisci, I can travel to the opposite end of the galaxy, but patients are the same everywhere. I say with a mildly annoyed tone.
Unfortunately, duties call, and sometimes personal well-being must come secondary to our work.
That has to be the number one excuse the people use.
She smiles, but it is a good one.
I can't really dispute that. It is a good one. But should I roll Medicaid for that? Or
I would say it's simple enough for you to change bandages. This is more of aftercare, and she has,
Okay.
burst a blister, so you can just do that. You'd find from quickly scanning that there are bandages and everything that you need around.
Do they have a terminal nearby full of information of how many people have been here and stuff like that, so I can just sort of get the gist of it? Pinch it on my data slate, or is it not recorded?
So they do have recordings of everyone who came in, who goes in and out of the building. That wouldn't really be accessible, to you though. I'm just trying to think of where, because the Telepathica building houses information that is very, very sensitive, so they wouldn't have cogitators everywhere. So in the areas that you're in now, actually you would have one. There would be a cogitator in the medical facility.
Ah, is anyone there or near it?
Alice, she's sat in a bed, getting her feet bandaged by Jenny. Actually, yeah, no, that's so. It is only her in there.
I must say.
What would happen if I just, without a word, just walked over to it and started using it really casually?
I'm worried you have to ask this.
Bad things would happen to you specifically.
Well, she would probably see you. She would probably see you doing it and would be like, stop that.
Okay, instead of doing that then, I will go over to my tech priest friend and sort of whisper, would it be possible to sedate her for a short period of time? And then I look at the sort of not look at it, but sort of nod my head towards the cogite.
There is, if I had eye lasers, he would be dead right now. This is the look you get because you're suggesting me to do something that would be not beneficial to my patient. Say it like that. Jenny is one of those problematic tech priests that actually care.
Am I still needed?
I'm one of those researchers who just doesn't care.
At Diogenes' answer, I immediately realized I am still needed. I shall keep him.
Thank you. Tell me, Alice, I've been in many medical facilities over the years, but never quite like that. There seems to be not enough equipment to go around.
It's because of Navarra. She had particular gifts with biocynetics. She was able to heal using her powers given to her by the God Emperor. She was... you can definitely tell there's a sense of admiration and jealousy when she speaks of Navarra. She was incredible.
So that is why the equipment seems to be lacking.
She simply did not need equipment. If anything, she said it got in her way, didn't give her enough room to move round the patient.
Jenny will just mutter under her breath, unknown are the ways of the Omnissiah. The equipment is supposed to help. If it got in the way, then she simply was not trained in its use.
Did you say that audible enough for her to hear it? Or was that like
Mm,
muttered
I-
under your breath?
I muttered it under my breath.
Okay.
If you think she should get a roll to hear it, then go ahead.
No,
if it
she
makes
didn't
some
roll
sort of
for
sense.
she didn't roll for Diogenes tried to put her under, so I'll let it off. That yeah.
I mean, you really don't want to ruin the salty here.
I mean, there's a nosy tech priest asking questions about murderers. I'm not sure how subtle we really are.
Diogenes.
Being
Yeah, but that's a
inquisitive,
low point.
being
I need
I'm
inquisitive
keeping
knowledge,
Diogenes
yeah.
shut up.
the end of the world, you have got at least reason to have an interest because of Alice and you looking at her feet before. So yeah.
Okay. Yes, it could help, but also not. No, I can't think of anything more. I cannot think about a way to bullshit enough to get access to the cogitator, and I don't really think how would that help me. And the investigation will help us. If any of you guys want to pitch in, then by all means, but I'm out of ideas right now.
So would you talk to her about the two people who have been killed?
I mean, yeah, a bit.
Okay, so let's say in the small talk as you're doing the bandages and she's already brought up Navarra, who was the telepathica woman who was killed.
And she was the first victim, right? The second one was the Ministorum lady.
I've got it the other way round.
Oh, sorry. So the Ministorum lady was first, and then there was Navarra.
Yes. So as you're talking about the two deaths, you already proclaimed that you're not, your character's not that attractive. And we've only got the two males here. So she turns, she's not gorgeous. She's, average attractiveness. If she put a bit of makeup on, yeah, she could probably boost her number quite high. But as no makeup, just come off a fire, smelling a bit smoky, she's about the same as you, average. She talks to you and goes off topic about Navarra and Rihanna, and she mentions that there have been a lot of women who've gone missing in the town. She mentions heartedly that women like you, that us, don't need to worry as much. But you should still be, cautious, and it's a good thing that you do have a guard escorting you around.
It would be stupid to accost one of my order. When they would learn, let's just say that Mechanicus does not take kindly to attacks on his members. And facing a fully armed Skitari is not a prospect a lot of people are looking forward to.
Compared to that, I'm little more than a simple sheet standing in the way.
That is true. Actually, that is very true.
I sort of, with a completely bland voice with no sort of emotion put behind it, I go, I reckon I could take him.
By them, he means bullets. Or arrows, or whatever projectile comes our way.
Probably a last cannon. Diogenes, we need to talk about something else. Can you please explain this to me? And I start bullshitting something to Diogenes that I want to learn about.
You learn
Specifically,
about
I want to.
You're just
I
like,
actually-
Diogenes, what are the
10
best
out of
types of
10.
wood
I was
within this
actually
sector?
I was actually specifically asking if his data slate by any means had access to the amount of murders of women or disappearances of women in the recent period of time that we are
Are you being
concerned
subtle
with.
about this?
Yes.
Should I roll to see if that's one of the facts I took down? Because I remember I went to a cogitate at some point and just started taking down facts.
So, I remember that wasn't for this world. I remember that
Oh,
was
shit,
for
yeah.
that was for another world.
My bad.
You do have a mastercrafted. I believe Jenny has the mastercrafted data slate. That's disguised to look like a normal data slate. It was the last one that you got from the interrogator. You got
I
it
got
when you were
Have
on
it
the
down
ship.
as the regular
Craftsmanship.
data slate.
Then I'm
And I've
guessing
got
it's
Woodfield notes.
okay. No, that's because I was just thinking who had it. Because I know I didn't.
So on the rogue trader ship, you were given a data slate that
Oh,
was
that one. I forgot to put it in. Sorry.
Put it in your sheet.
because it is disguised. There is information on the world in that data slate.
Okay. If not Draco, Ghost asks for this data slate, I will pass it to
It just
him.
occurred to me they can't actually get into it.
No, you all have access. It was given,
Oh.
so it's gene coded.
I thought we
To you
all
guys.
had to be there to use it.
No, you only had to
No.
do it to unlock the message that was in. Once the message had played out, it works as a normal data slate for any of you to use, but it's completely secure. So
If Diogenes has no useful data for me, I will gladly learn about wood to keep him distracted.
I'd probably like try and change the subject to something I care more about instead of just something I tried to win an argument with
Like your
once.
book.
Yeah, my book.
I just turned to Balric and I'm out. Thank you.
So you start talking about. So as you're putting on the bandage, Donages, you hear Ghost pull Donages away, and they begin talking about something. And Donages starts getting like quite excited. Like the tone of his voice changes, and he goes, "Well, Bobdrick. You see, orcs are a genetic species," and he begins talking quite a lot of details about orcs.
They're very
I
similar to
am-
mushrooms, you see, and this gives them the properties of being able to reform without sexual interactions, just on
Oh,
death.
I am listening with interest.
Start
Suddenly
talking
he's
about the tactics and different clans I might have seen and how their weaponry doesn't work, but it works. And some sort of
Okay,
theory I've come up with it.
you have actually picked a subject that does interest Ghost because he's like, if I ever meet an orc, I now know how to kill it. Wonderful.
Suddenly Jenny is also interested in what Diogenes has to say for the first time. Well, no, second. The first was the Cupid
Amazingly,
cherub.
Alice actually turns round in her bed and she starts listening into that, and she looks quite interested as well, as she hasn't really clocked on.
No self-control, I'll just split out everything I know. And
I-
start being like, I've got a book about it, it goes in even more detail, and then I'll just continue splitting about orcs.
If I see that Alice is trying to listen, can I try and make her not listen?
Sure, it's quite a... So for a normal civilian to know quite so much about orcs is quite the oddity. And it's publishing a book is one of the reasons why Donages is where he is. So you can, by all means, try and bring the topic back.
I won't mention that's why I'm in the Inquisition, though. I'll just
No,
sort of...
I'm
If you
basically
say
you're
the
reading
I
chapters
word-
out about orcs, about how they recover, how they reproduce, how they you're spilling off facts, and she didn't roll well enough to like be like, hang on, you're not meant to have that information. She's just like, oh yeah, this is really interesting.
And then occasionally I might throw in an Aldor or a Factonair randomly, and then continue on with the looks.
Well, rip subtlety.
No, it's okay. She didn't clock on. She got a 63, so she's just like, oh wow, that's really interesting. I didn't know anything about. That's interesting. Okay, this is. She hasn't clicked on that. Hang on, what? Why do you know so much? She doesn't know. Our Jesus has said
Knowledge.
Okay, if I'm done swapping the bandage, I'm just gonna exchange goodbyes, and unless you guys wanna do something else, I say we leave, because we have a lead. That's the word.
I'm completely fine with leaving. I have some scouting to do, if you don't mind.
Sure. Alice waves you goodbye and makes a sign of makes the Imperial Quilla in her bed, and gives you a nod and a smile of gratification that you have come back to tend her wounds.
I'll probably return the Aquila and nod to her, which this is probably the first time any of you have seen me do that, but
First person to give you respect.
Right.
nah, it's just I'm in a good mood, honestly. All my characters, at least Dionysus.
I feel we actually learned something here.
You probably don't learn that much just because of how fast I'm just splitting out random facts that aren't interlinked that well.
But what
You
we
do know-
learned is that Diogenes knows about orcs.
You also know he knows nearly heretical things about orcs.
Very
I'm-
heretical things.
Heretic depends on your definition.
So,
It's
as
the difference
you
between calling someone curious as anti or a chaos cultist.
as you leave the Telepathica building, the ceramite steel gates raise up again as you leave. The knights give you a curt nod as they watch you walk out, and you head back to where you're going to stay. Or I know Ghost wants to disappear and do some scouting.
Yeah, I'll happily go as soon as I see someone else, like, hints at it or anything.
I mean, I would probably return to our quarters, but before I would ask Ghost to maybe try and learn of the local underground. Specifically, if there's some sort of, I don't know, specific need for good-looking women. Like, I'm basically trying to rationalize maybe there's like an underworld ring that kidnaps them and sells them into brothels or something.
I shall do my best.
Thank you.
Okay. So as Diogenes and Jenny enter the Adeptus Administratum building, Ghost takes his leave. How would you like to go about this, Ghost?
I would like to essentially go full ghost mode. So, and then simply and try to listen in on possible conversations about cult activity, specifically trying to find this, like, the nastiest piece of the town.
Okay. So, would you ask someone for this information, or would you just, thinking about how nice the area is that you're in, just think, right, well, if I head to the outskirts, it's probably going to be nastier than here?
I'm going to head towards the outskirts, and somewhere halfway when I notice shit starts getting dodgy, I'll go ghost mode. So do I need to roll stealth for that?
Okay. If you could roll me 3 stealth checks, one of them you will. Are you going to be using your chameleon cloak and your?
In all 3 cases, I'll be using the cloak. It is up to you if for the first roll I use the stunner.
I would probably say you can use them for all 3, but on the last one, there will be a -40. Okay. So, as you get to the outskirts of town, you notice that the quality in buildings, the smell, everything gets worse. You make your way as inconspicuously as you can, raising your hood up, just keeping enough gap at the sides so you can glance down alleyways as you make your way through the town. You get to a point where the buildings look run down enough. The people who you glance at quickly, they look bedraggled and they look rough enough that this is probably where you want to start your search. You head down into an alleyway, dark, wet and stinking. You can see piles of garbage just chucked outside of ramshackled huts. Some of it indeed just waste of the human variety. You begin making your way down, cautiously trying to avoid making too much noise, the deep puddles and just piles of filth. In some cases even small bits, scraps of metal and broken glass, but you make your way down silently. You do this for what seems like hours, but in reality maybe 30 minutes of darting through back streets in absolute silence, listening for any peeps, any sounds of nefarious meetings, people in the shadows. Give me an awareness test, please.
Any bonuses?
This will be flat.
I'd like to use a fake point.
Sure. You don't hear the noise as you go over a particularly large pile of garbage. It appears as if there was a fight here of some sorts. Large amounts of broken glass, smashed wood, and you even see some dried on blood on the wooden walls higher up underneath the eaves. After you make your way around these hazards, you carry on going. Can you give me another awareness test, this time with a +20? You silently make your way further down past the obstructions, and you don't quite hear the booming laugh until you're already past the opening, the let's call it a junction. You quickly glance to the side as you silently carry on down the same alley that you were on, but you see 2 people stood there. One very large man. Somehow in your concentration to remain silent, you completely blocked out his massive laugh, and a slimmer gentleman. You didn't quite see much about his appearance, just he was slimmer to the other, well, blob of a man. let me see if they saw you.
Also, keep in mind that the sound around me is actually slightly suppressed as well.
Yeah. No, they did not see you. As they were in the middle of their conversation, you now slow down as you enter the shadows yet again. They don't appear to stop their conversation. If you want to wait here and listen to what they're saying, you can give me a stealth test with a -30.
Okay.
Well, too many of these fuckers have been going missing. It's a disgrace. Have you seen the ugly trolls that we've got left? I know. I mean, we used to have some right lookers, but now look at them all. All bedraggled and fucking haggard. I mean, God Emperor have mercy on us. Don't we have enough shit to deal with? Yeah, tell me about it. Unless you're fit and strong and good for the fucking military, or a woman, you're fucked. And now, all the pretty women are getting taken. It's fucking nonsense. I know, it's wrong. Ghost, you listen to a fairly mundane conversation. And then the larger gentleman, you hear him move and start coming towards you. You see his shadow being cast through the alleyway. It's being projected onto the wall. You can see the wall and his shadow being projected. You lean up against the wall watching his shadow. Yeah, it's a fucking disgrace. Yeah, just... You see a stream of water begin to enter the alleyway at about groin height.
Okay.
But it doesn't appear as if the man producing said water stream has noticed you.
I am standing literally not standing probably, but just crouched somewhere just as still as a rock. So.
You sit you crouch there in the shadows, listening to their conversation, but it appears to be mundane as can be. They don't appear to talk of criminal activities. It's more of how there aren't any good-looking women left in this town, and that they've been going missing for a very, very long time. It seems as if they've been going missing for a year or more.
Okay.
Do you wish to push on or carry on listening?
I wish to push on. They do not
Okay.
appear to have any interesting facts for me.
So Ghost, give me... how would we do this? Give me another stealth test. This is with a -40. You spend a long, long time going through the back streets as quietly as possible, darting round. You hear many conversations, but none of them seem to have any inkling into cult activities or into... if anything, people are scared. They don't know what's going on. And before long, you don't realise where exactly you are in the outskirts of this city. You've been travelling through these back alleys for so long, you're almost lost in this maze, but you know you've kept travelling around. You hear a woman scream in the distance. You move there quickly and silently, darting down the alleyways, closer and closer to the noise.
Can I positively just rush there? Or
You are close enough that you think you can get there stealthily. And indeed, as you come to another break, the alleyways are extremely dark, but every now and then you come to like a little, a very small courtyard where the sun's light can reach down.
will I be faster with put stealth on the second priority?
Sure, you can. Yes, if you abandon your stealth, you will arrive there quicker. But it will be up to you if you choose to do that.
If I rolled an acrobatics test, would I be able to pick a route that was faster, whilst not breaking my cover entirely?
I would probably say no. You could, because you're going. No, if you can move quickly in stealth, and with your score, you would be able to move quickly in stealth. But if you were to do another athletics, you'd be breaking your stealth.
I didn't say athletics, I said acrobatics, but...
Oh, sorry, acrobatics.
If I dropped stealth, I would be faster, right?
Yes.
I will drop stealth and just... And if someone sees me, I can
Okay.
always just go back into the shadows when this is done.
So you hear a scream. You break stealth as you start darting down the alleyways, following the sound of the scream. Left, right, straight, forwards, forwards, forwards. You see a beam of light come out at the side, where this is clearly another small courtyard. You almost slide as you try to stop inside this new junction and head into the courtyard where you're sure you heard the sound of the scream. As you slide into place, you're brought to the sight of a woman who is white as a sheet. She's holding her hands on her face as this thing dives into her.
I draw
She
my
is
sword and
knocked out of your sight line as you draw your sword.
I go after them and I try to take the thing away.
As you draw your sword and dart forwards, turning to face this thing, the woman is no longer there. As you see legs disappearing further up into the sky, and white wings.
I put away the sword, draw my pistol, and shoot.
Okay. It would probably be at 30 foot, so within your standard range. So just within 30 foot up. But it has a minus. Is it a -10?
Do I get any aim?
Is it flying?
It is flying for a start.
Give me
Can I get a
insect
half
flying.
aim or a full aim?
If you were to do a full aim, it would be over 30 feet away.
30 feet or 30 meters?
30 meters. So I can't remember how we do it. What's the measure?
This
It's
system we
meters.
use meters.
Okay.
And if it counts as a flyer at low altitude, then yeah, it's -10.
And then
so
you
I'd only
also
get a
have
half
a
aim.
-10 for its size. because it is size weedy.
Okay, so half aim, standard range, you said? Or
Yes,
short range?
yes. If you do a half aim, it will be in standard range, and there's a -20 overall.
Slanesh wills it so.
And unfortunately, as you raise your auto pistol, the sun is in the perfect position to cause glare across your mask. You take fire, you fire a shot, and it goes wide. The cherubim darts up higher and higher. Well, you don't know it's a cherubim. The thing darts up higher and higher.
Can I see what it is?
You can do a awareness check with a +20, but that will be your full action. You can clearly see that that is indeed a cherubim.
I will try to take aim again and shoot it again.
So it has had a chance. It has basically done a full move. So it is now 60 meters from you.
Is it carrying the woman?
Yes.
Is it slowing it down in any way?
Yes, it is not able to. It's clearly not moving as quickly as when it was doing a search pattern earlier.
Is the woman a larger target?
Yes.
Are you gonna shoot the woman?
It is here for the woman after all.
I don't see how that's helping.
If I shoot the woman, it has to go back and search for another prey.
Or it'll just
take
leave with the
another
woman.
Leave with a dead one.
And?
Ghost, I will give you with your awareness. There's blood dripping down. You can hear it blip 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 as it drips onto the.
There is no screaming likely.
No screaming.
The woman is already dead. I tried to shoot the cherub.
Cool. It is 60 meters from you.
Okay, would this again be a half aim or full aim action?
If you do a full aim, it has a chance to move another. Well, actually, technically, it's 48 meters from you. If you do a full aim's a full action, so it will get its turn.
Would that still be considered standard range, or would that already be considered long range?
For a pistol, I believe
That-
it's 30
pistol
is
is it?
standard, and then it's 60.
I think standard range is 30 meters, but then where does it start being
Long range is double the standard range.
Yes.
Okay, so this is long range. It is not skirted over into extreme range. I will take a
Correct.
full aim because it will still be in long range.
Okay.
For a single shot.
It will do its turn of moving 24 meters.
It will still be within the
Oh no, I'm just
Long
posting
range.
that in case you do go to standard range.
yeah, okay, it's still within long range, and it's a -10 for it being its size, right?
There's a -20 overall because it's flying and because of its size.
I hit.
Ooh. Now it's flying away from you. It does know that it's being shot at, so it's not unaware of you. So it would get a dodge chance, wouldn't it?
I'd also probably say that it's significantly hindered by the fact that it's holding a dead woman.
Yeah, it's definitely going to take a negative to it.
I mean, it's been moving at nearly full speed while holding a dead woman.
No, it can sprint. It can actually sprint. So, carrying a dead body's got to be at least a -20.
Is there even a stat line for a cherub?
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
There is.
It does not dodge. So roll me damage, please. You hit it in the head.
No, it's its body.
Oh, sorry, that was awareness. Sorry. My bad. So yes, you hit it in the body for 6. Pen 0. Cool. Okay. It does its turn. So that's now I think it's 88 meters away.
That would be considered extreme range, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
For a pistol.
Till 90 meters, it's considered extreme range, and then it's out of range.
I will fire the last shot in this particular clip
Sure, go ahead.
with a full aim.
If you
otherwise
do a full aim, it will move into out of range.
Okay, then it's a half aim. Extreme range. Standard. And a -20 as well. I hit.
It's a body shot again.
You... Do you know what? I'm tempted to... Do you know what? I'm gonna... No, I've got to let it dodge. I'd love to let it... to take away its chance to dodge. But I will. And
I mean, it's been sprinting and we can't.
unfortunately, it makes its dodge. As its warning cybernetics still tell it that fire is coming towards it. But it was a bloody good attempt as it moves out of your shooting range. It would still be in your visual range for some time.
Okay. I reload a clip into my pistol and I start tracking it.
So, as you reload a clip and essentially combat ended, all of a sudden you hear from all around you, "Guards! Guards! Someone's shooting a gun!" Or from just the houses all around you. There seems to be panic in the sounds of their voices.
I'm gonna try to stealthily follow this thing then.
Sure. Give me a stealth check with a -30 as people are shouting and...
Also, please keep in mind, the sound of my gunfire is also significantly muted by my stomach.
Yeah, but it's not as much as if you'd actually silence the damn gun.
So I think an auto gun is like a mile or a kilometer.
It's
Yeah,
an
auto gun.
It's not a pistol, but
It's still like the thing for actually doing guns is insane in that unless you
-30,
silence
right?
it.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
crazy
minus
how
30.
loud guns are in the system.
So I mean, the surrounding area isn't too bad. As you dart off,
yeah, okay.
trying to keep...
Probably the fact that it also pinged it probably made noise. And the woman screaming beforehand.
And you fired a few shots. It wasn't just one and dart off. If it was
Yeah, it
one,
was
they probably
3.
would have gone like it's a musket, but where it's like bang, 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 they're like, holy shit! Ah! Someone's firing
Probably more
automatic
like-
weapons.
Yeah, probably more like
Yeah.
very loudly.
I can just see this coming and impacting Alexa.
You dart through the alleyways, and several times you have to quickly avert your course as a guard comes running the other way, or a civilian opens up to see what was going on. But you make your way out of the affected area. You soon come to a position where the level of public interest has died down. Give me an awareness check as you're moving in and out, finding bits of sky and looking up. You can have a +20 because you know the direction and the rough area that it should be in. As you dart through, you begin to lose track of it, and you keep
I'll
going
use the fate
further in.
point.
Oh, okay.
I'll use the fate point.
Unfortunately, Nuffle doesn't want you to have it. You dart through. You begin to lose track of the target. You know that you have to find sky in order to find it again, but you don't see any daylight in the vicinity. You have to move further to where you think you can see. Finally, you find a patch and you look up in the area that it should be. Give me a another awareness check. You only get a +10 this time. Unfortunately, you scan the horizon, you scan higher up, but it appears as if you lost it. You know the direction it was heading, and you look for a building that will help you guide where it could have come.
I'd like to clamber on one of the buildings.
Sure.
I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try to make my way over the rooftops.
So I will. What's your strength bonus?
It's a 3.
And your agility?
A 5.
Okay, I'll give you with your core stats. The alleyways, the buildings are built quite close together, so that their eaves almost connect, blocking off the sunlight. But where the area that you're in, you can easily climb up the sides and get onto the rooftops. As you stand on the roof and you look towards where it was last seen, you can see the cathedral. It's the closest, grandest building is the cathedral, and then behind that, the oh, hang on, how did I? Yes, you see the cathedral in front of you. To your right, you see the palace, and behind the cathedral, you see the towering Administratum building. Give me a flat awareness check. You can't seem to find it, but you know you can take more time in the area to look for it, or you can tell me where Ghost, where he would think to look to try and give yourself a bonus.
In the direction of the cathedral and the Administratum building.
Okay, give me a flat check. You don't see it in that direction. You look and you look, but it was in this direction. You don't see it anywhere between the cathedral and the Administratum building.
See, it's not in that direction. Okay.
Roll me an intelligence with a -5.
Nasty possessive babies.
Unfortunately, you curse your luck as you think it's out of your sight now. However, you do know that a cherubim, of all things, attacked a woman. You weren't able to see what she looked like, but you at least know this much.
I ponder to myself as I make my way back to where I'm staying. The cult probably has access to bloody cherubims. Bigger threat than anticipated. A suitable sacrifice to my master.
So let's go back to Miss Amanda and Alexa. You have scouted out the building itself. Was there anything else you would like to do with the rest of your day? Anyone you'd like to talk to or inquire about?
I don't remember, but did at any point either Amanda or Alexa get into contact with the... Forgot the name of the priest, let me look at my notes.
No, we didn't get in contact with the big guy that I yelled at.
Yeah,
Quintilius.
Quintilius, yes. So he would probably be the one that I'd be most interested in, to observe at least. Because, I mean, he's the head honcho of one of the factions, so...
Yeah, I'm in the middle of...
And he is in the same place where we are, right?
Yes, he is next door in the cathedral itself.
Does he at any point give you any speeches? Does he have any, sermons to give, stuff like that, that we could potentially watch, or...
How would you like to ask someone if he has a time schedule, or did you want to just go in there and see if anything was happening?
I mean, there's a bunch of sermons we need to attend. Because, in a store I'm building.
Yep. I'd probably look around to see if there was anywhere that said who gave sermons when and why. I'd ask around someone who knew. But
Okay, so we'll say that
I wouldn't go.
So
Sorry.
that's quite amusing. Okay, so we'll say for quickness, you don't see any like time schedules written down or anything. So you ask one of the sisters, who doesn't seem to have too much on her plate, and she tells you that Father Quintilius basically does a constant serum. Is it serum?
Sermon?
Sermon, that's the one. He does a constant sermon. Basically, he will stop and take a break. So sometimes it will go on for hours. Other times there are constant breaks. So she basically says, he should be, considering what happened this afternoon, it's more than likely that there'll be something going on. And if you leave the building and actually go round to the front, you will indeed hear the sounds of hymns, chants, and prayers.
Okay. If I have the time and the free time, that is, I would most definitely go and observe him, because the more I find out about him, the merrier, I guess. Because I need to know more about this guy, because he was about to burn a girl on a stake, so the more I know about him and his fanatics, the better it is for me.
So I will put it out there, Alexa, you probably would have seen, this interaction wouldn't have gone amiss for you if you wanted to go and listen to the sermon. You could.
I mean, I'll try, but if it looks like I'm not welcome, I'm not going to agree, like, yeah, I'm intruding. No, I'm just going to go, okay, I'll go worship the Emperor somewhere else.
No,
I've got a copy of
by
the
all
book
means,
to worship.
there are. So you'll be expected mainly to do a lot of private prayer and prayer with your sisters. You wouldn't be ejected from the cathedral. So you both
but
make your way.
I might not be welcome, considering I yelled at this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be the whole, you got to get out, but it's the, we don't like you here, leave. Just the glares.
Yeah. You both.
He
make
doesn't
your
know me
way.
though, does he?
Well, not really, but no doubt you'll piss him off straight away with your questions. Don't question God.
I mean, it won't even be that. It's you're pissing off one of the servants of the Emperor. Why hasn't she killed you yet? She's not allowed. Kill him.
So you make your way into the cathedral, and you see that there is indeed a sermon going on at this moment in time. The front pews is quite, there's a room for a lot of people, and it's about 50% capacity at the moment. The front pews, the front probably 3 rows are all full with devout worshippers. And it's probably more of, all the rows behind them are filled. So there's probably about 10 rows of people all filled with the devout followers. But there's a good 10 rows that are still empty. You can quietly enter and take a seat as Father Quintilius, whose voice now echoes and resonates within the cathedral's walls. He appears to be doing a sermon on protection and finding inner salvation, as one should look inwards to not always depend on the Emperor to save you, but to save yourselves. There will be a time once again when evil strikes us at our hearts and homes. Do not forget, this world is tainted. That evil strikes when we least expect it, when we are at our most calm, when we let our guard down. This is when they choose to strike. Although the telepathica tell us that they watch over us, and they would secret away these wrongdoers and lock them in their cages, they are not infallible. They are not always there, and we have seen the damage that they can do. For what we have lost was much, but we must look inwards to find it upon ourselves to show tolerance, but suspicion. And this kind of rant continues for a good half an hour.
Scrutiny him.
Sure, you can scrutiny during the sermon. It goes on for a good half an hour, 45 minutes, and it's about at that time when he stops, takes a break, and it almost feels as if he's spent. He's spent quite a long time now ranting about this. And you see that one of his seconds comes up and begins leading another hymn, and another sung prayer. Alexa, this man seems completely honest to you. He seems devout in his worship, and his true heartfelt belief that no matter what the Telepathica says, they spread evil. And I'll give you that he's pushing at psychers, and he is really, psychers are evil, they're not to be trusted. Just
I mean, the
because
book says be wary of them.
Yeah.
It's actually in the Imperial Creed. Beware the psyker and the mutant.
The Emperor was a psyker.
Heresy.
It's very much you don't get any I'll give you that you're doing this throughout his 45-minute long rant. And he seems completely honest in everything. There's no sense of a lie in his words.
He's just a religious nut that believes every word he speaks. It's reasonable.
You would also get the note, from his... Psychers have gone mad on this world before. You definitely get that from the words that he's speaking, that they have failed in their duties to protect the people, and people have gone running amok with their powers.
I mean, with this, I'm also hearing everything that happens normally. But it's a case of, yeah, he's just really, really, really wary of them. Probably doesn't justify him randomly burning a psyker at the stake, but he's got good reason to be wary based on his rant.
Wait, you need a justification to burn someone at the stake?
Yes, otherwise they could, and otherwise they don't need justification to burn you at the stake.
I know, right? Crazy. You can't just go around burning people in the stake.
Believe it or not, Alexa doesn't burn people at the stake. She burns them on the battlefield with a flamer.
So, 2 questions. Well, actually, no, only really 1 question. Firstly, Amanda, during this rant, when he talks about the evil that lurks within psychers and the damage they can do, and you get a real sense of hatred of not towards psychers, but this evil that he's talking about, this thing that makes them run amok. He doesn't name it directly, but whenever he talks about it, your blood begins to boil.
Yeah.
Also, we had a conversation a while ago about
We
things. Is that still going to happen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's fine.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Amanda,
Yeah.
the unsanctioned psych.
My blood boils quite a bit. No, it's because I have a hatred of demons, even though I don't know exactly what demons are, and that I know they're the evil he speaks about. And I was muted, wasn't I?
No.
No.
No, you were
I'm just
not
sticking with my
muted.
joke of Amanda, the unsanctioned psycho.
No, yeah, I was muted after you said that because I said.
I heard that. Heard
No,
what you
we
said.
heard you
Yeah.
say that.
So I said I was sticking with the joke.
It's just a
Never
meme, dude.
mind. It's just a meme. But yeah, I know exactly what evil he speaks of. My blood boils every time, but eh. So, well then.
You probably watch for, or you at least listen to the end of like the hymn that is sung to the God Emperor. It's a particular favourite, and it seems like there's a larger number of choir boys here who are able to hit those perfect tones that apparently old priests like to hear.
Tell me they're not small children. Tell me they're not small children. Tell me they're not small children.
The cherubim.
The it's quite clear that after the song is sung that Quintilius he is very old, and it appears that the energetic display that has happened earlier in the day with the pyre building and the heretic burning, along with his rant, have tired him out, and he goes back to the pew and, "My apologies, my children, but today's events have drained me. I must seek sanctuary in my private reclusiarchy. Reclusiarchum? To pray for the God Emperor to give me strength. I leave you now to perform your own prayers of devotion, and to remember that evil is everywhere, so we must be vigilant." And you can almost see energy return for another rant, but then a big long breath comes out and the colour leaves him, and he comes down off the pew. And the devout sort of get up and, they stand to their feet and, "Oh, Brother Quintilius, what beautiful sermon, beautiful. Beloved by the, yes, he leads the people, yes, but, as religious.
Hey, what
monks
time is
do.
it?
It is getting, it's probably about 4 o'clock at this point now. And I would probably say this is about the time when Ghost is heading back, or has got onto the roof and seen that he'd lost the target.
Okay, then
Does Ghost have a silenced pistol or anything along those lines? Or was he shooting?
Mine is not silenced, but I have a stunner, which is a field that dampens noise around me.
it doesn't dampen it tons, but it's like the equivalent between you tripping and it's like when you scuff your shoe, that drops to like damn near 0, whereas firing a gun, that drops by like maybe 3 decibels.
So I'm gonna say that I haven't got the book open, but for an auto pistol, I'm gonna guess that it's like half a kilometer.
It's 1 kilometer.
No,
Or at
because
least
it's a
you-
pistol. Because it's a pistol.
Autogun fire is 1 kilometer, so if you go to last gun crack, 500 meters.
So I was gonna make it a quarter of the distance because of
Oh,
the silence, the stunner silencing the sound as
I've
well.
I've got the maths
Silenced
for
auto pistol is 50 meters.
yeah, and a silencer halves the distance to hear it. It's really annoying because by that logic, a silenced pistol's only like 100 meters. Still really far though on a quiet world.
I would probably say if you guys, if your plan was to leave after the serum, like you'd got your information, or did you want to go and speak to Father Quintilius?
He's tired, he's old, he's surrounded by people. I don't fancy my odds if I anger anyone because I don't want to hurt them. Also, I don't want to ruin the back end of what's actually a good sermon.
Okay.
You might not. I'm gonna go around instead and just kind of find out like, why was the person being burned at the stake? I might have stepped in, because all I knew was there was a person being burned at the stake.
Okay. Well, it looks like that the people who you might want to talk to, they've got up now, and they're, you can see them stretching, and they appear to have been sat there for some time, and they're making their way out of the cathedral to perhaps gossip outside. We'll say that Amanda wanders outside, unless you want to talk to someone. If you were to go outside now, you can do a -10 awareness to see if you can hear the 3 gunshots.
Yeah.
I'm gonna -10 awareness.
Yeah.
This is gonna be bad, but let's try it. Who knows?
I guess I can try and make the roll as well. Because I'm going out, aren't I?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was trying to make it so you could both get the chance
Nope.
to roll. It's unfortunate, it's a bit too far, and as the doors open and people kind of, as soon as they step outside, they begin talking about the sermon, about it's as if they aren't an unwritten rule. You don't gossip in the cathedral. Once you're outside, though, you can gossip all you want. So by all means, Alexa, you now have people chatting all around you, and you can hear them chatting about the day's events and things of that nature.
Yeah, let's make a 1 hour roll. Because that's actually how long inquiry lasts. And let's fate it, because I've got to at least do some fate. Again.
Amanda will stick around and not as much inquire, but eavesdrop if she can on anything that people are talking about to see if anybody mentions anything important, or anything about the occurrence that are happening on the planet.
So I believe it's inquiry perception to do it.
What?
Is it inquiry perception to eavesdrop?
I think inquiry is just fellowship.
Yeah, you can
Intelligence-
technically make it roll
intelligence
perception.
or perception. So
I'm gonna fail.
Yeah,
but
I
I
don't
can
Shit, it
try.
is.
because that would be more you're staying in the crowd but listening like into a conversation and putting bits of that
Okay,
conversation
then do you want me to
together.
re-roll it?
Well, no, I thought you
This-
rolled it with
this would be-
fellowship, so you were.
Yeah, I rolled it with fellowship.
Yeah, so
No, no,
you're chatting to people as their beautiful sermon. Yes, so, I've just got here, and it was it really touched me, and inquiring that way. That's how the fellowship roll goes.
Yeah. My case is I'm just listening. I'm not talking to people. I'm just eavesdropping. So can I roll?
You can roll, but I believe it's to eavesdrop on people is inquiry perception, I believe. Unless you're trying to do it from the shadows.
No,
then
no, no.
it's-
I'm gonna try. I'm most likely going to fail, but yeah.
The book gets to just generally be awkward.
So, Alexa, as the people come out, you basically slot right in with your, the sermon was lovely. He really inspired me, and the words he said, really hit home how truthful they are. You do need to be, you basically sweet talk the people around you, and they all, yes, Father Quintilius, he's a marvellous man like that. He has our best interests at heart, and you can see how hard he works, but just how much energy he puts into it. It's, and I will actually give them a roll, because they are gossiping here. So, unfortunately, they get a 55, so they don't bring up the topic, but you do start hearing, words about, they probably would bring it up, about, what was her name, Rihanna. Rihanna's death hit him hard. He almost aged overnight at hearing the news, and it's just so good to see him, brightening up, getting some of that spirit back into him. Would there be a chain of questions that you would like to lead the conversation in?
I was mostly just trying to figure out, like, why was that person being burned at the stake? I might step, because it was along the logic of, I might have stepped in, but as far as I knew, it was a person being burned at the stake. Just a random person
Okay.
who had committed no crimes against the Emperor.
Okay.
It wasn't until I'd stepped in and I was already in the thick of things, but I'm not going to admit that.
So they turn, and yes, well, that was a horrid event, and well, Father Quintilius, he's a man of actions. Unfortunately, he saw the panic, and he saw the people, how scared they were, and he believed that action was needed. And the people were all looking round, and yes, action was needed. But one of the women in the group pipes up, but Gallius was right, grumbling throughout the well, maybe, but yes, but Quintilius was the bigger man. He was the one who pulled, stepped down in the end. But as for why, there's kind of a murmuring through the. A voice pops up. You don't quite hear who it came for, but revenge. They got us. One of ours took the light from us. Well, no. A murmur of like boos and almost like some people look round, and he would never do that.
And I'm sure that if anything like that was done, it was not done by somebody who knows and is so devoted to the Emperor. Perhaps he had been misinformed about something.
There's a general like agreement going through the small crowd that's still gathered of someone's misleading him, putting lies out there, but the people around don't really seem to know. It really does seem like, we'll say you spend a good half an hour just chatting with these people and talking about the events of the day, the sermon, and the questions that you wanted to ask, and they generally don't seem to really know why she was chosen, except from she was a member of the Telepathica, and that it just seemed like Brother Quintilius was in the moment, seeking out someone to blame for this, and he was. You get the opinion that after her death, he was very much pushing this is someone from the Telepathica. This is a psyker gone mad. Who's done this?
Just give me a sec to put everything together from what I've just heard. Because there was a slight moment where I didn't miss any important information, but it was cutting in and out, and it was literally just like as I led the conversation with my questions, and also that they don't actually know why she was chosen, just that she's thingy, just that she's telepathica, and he's been blaming the telepathica for a bit.
Yeah, particularly after Rihanna's death, it seemed like he was dedicated that 100% they're the ones who are hiding this. It was one of theirs. But yeah, that's just a general feeling you're getting from the crowd.
But yeah, so that I don't push my luck, I'll have some nice conversations with them, polite small talk as they slowly disperse, and then I'll go do any jobs we have to do today with the sororitas. If there aren't any jobs, then I've got to at least make myself look like I'm eager to get to work, so I'll end up volunteering to do at least some looking after the children.
Sure. So, Miss Alexa and Miss Amanda, as the crowd disperses and people begin to go about their day, and there's a lot of pleasantries going about, especially directed to you, Alexa. A lot of people sign of the doing the Imperial Aquila and bows, and thank you, sister. And you are in your sister outfit, aren't you? You didn't put your robes
If they
on.
call me sister, I will politely correct. I'm not a sister of battle. I'm just a sororitas.
Yes, but they still refer to you as sister. Basically, anyone within the sisterhood is referred to as sister. Same as the Mechanicus.
Doesn't stop me being unnecessarily humble.
True. But there's lots of goodbye, sister. We look forward to seeing you around, sister. Blah 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 blah. Lots of pleasantries. Give me an awareness check with a -10 to see if there's anything that catches your eye.
Just Alexa?
No, you can do it as well, Amanda.
Here we go. -10.
Unfortunately, you're chatting. You don't see anything in the crowd. You don't see anything that catches your eye. The crowd disperses, and you may go about your business if you wish to. It's about 4:30, 4:45. Alexa, by all means, you can help out in the kitchen, with the kids, wherever you want. Miss Amanda, would there be anything you would like to do?
I'm gonna go see if there are any kids doing basically gym class, so I can make kids drop down and give me 20.
Sure. You can help out as well. So we will leave the two at the Ministorum, and we'll go back to Ghost. You have arrived back at the Ministorum building.
Okay. I'll immediately go try to find Jenny and Diogenes.
I'd be either working or getting the information you wanted. Probably both, actually.
Okay. I microbeat Jenny to come to our room. I just open our room and just say to Diogenes, we have a problem.
Okay, I'll go as summoned.
As soon as Jenny is there, I'm just like, okay. I was out in the outer regions of the town to discover why all the pretty women have been going missing. I even overheard the locals saying it was a problem for them. And then saw one of the cherubs killing one of the ladies and then flying away with her corpse in the direction of the cathedral.
Wait, a cherub.
One of the flying baby things. I tried to shoot it down. I hit it once, but it was not enough. I was not spotted.
Is there any role I can make to determine if there are like combat models of cherubs?
You would know as a mechanicus that cherubin can come in all shapes, all sizes, and all different models.
So there are technically combat models.
Yes.
Also, do I have to roll for getting the information that or my character thinks Ghost wants, or he might still want?
So you, in the administratum building, you have access to the terminals. So you can access a terminal. How would you like to access it? Will you just sign in and
Just while I'm working, yeah, pretty much, and then that's one of the things I go and nab.
okay?
Like,
So
pretty much I'm just going through my work as normal, then I just suddenly change and then do that.
you're not technically meant to work today, but you go to where your workstation is assigned, and you just go and log in. You know, check things over, make things are all set up right. You look like you're preparing for the day, and you can look up or attempt to look up whatever you want.
Okay.
So what was it that you would like?
It was about a woman dying and stuff like that. I can't remember exactly what.
Isn't this what you're actually meant to be assigned here for?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is his cover.
I mean, come on,
it's
it's
part of his
Diogenes.
cover.
He's doing his cover. It's amazing.
So as you dig through the piles of reports in the Cognite unit, can you give me, how long would you want to
I'm
spend
amazing.
doing this? Like, is this there's a times no limit kind of thing?
I'd probably be doing this while Ghost is out and about, or like,
Yeah.
or just pretty
So
much
you've got a
as
few
soon as we get
hours.
back to the building.
You've got a few hours of research time, basically. So if you give me, it'd be inquiry, intelligence, to go through all the paperwork, and I'm pretty sure that's the one it needs to be. So your first hour, you don't really get too much. Well, actually, this is a machine that you're used to working on, in a format you're used to working on, and you're not restricted. So you probably should have a +10 for your background and a +10 for your knowledge. You know this. So you still would have failed both rolls. So
So
that's
10
an
for
hour.
intelligence.
That's an hour. You've got 2 hours, so you can roll again. The first hour you just don't find anything. You look through and there's too much paperwork. There's too much nonsense, basically. Wow, Nuffle. I'll give you. You've managed to get a really rough. For out of character, you were going to get a really rough number because it's a feudal world. They don't document missing persons like well, they don't care. So as you look through the files, you can see that there are just probably hundreds, if not thousands, of missing people reports of, and they all seem to be women. But you also see names again and again with the same surnames. Oh, you forgot your... Ah, okay. So yes, you do pass. So you spend your last hour looking through, and you very quickly realise that names have been added in multiple times. It seems like as if multiple guard stations or outposts or guards themselves have reported, and then they've been logged in.
I would clean it up and then just sort of record sort of like, so it's one death but it says multiple reports.
Okay, so you remove all the waste, all the added ones that don't need to be there, and you look through. There have been, in the past year and a half, and it's a rough estimate because of the feudal world that you're on, it looks as if there's at least 400 to 700 people gone missing in the surrounding areas, all of them female, and all of them with no sight, with no trace, except from a few traces of blood in a few reports.
Would I be able to make a graph, just like a rough graph of it over the years? Or
You
would
could
I
do
be
it
out of
over.
time?
You could do it over the months, and you could definitely see that the attacks are getting more frequent. The first one, there was an attack for a week. Well, not an attack. There was a missing person, and then a week later, there was 2 missing people. Then 4, then 8, then 16, and it just kept growing and growing and growing. And then it between days. So now instead of seeing missing people throughout weeks, it's days. Sometimes there are 20 or 40 people going missing in a day, but no action seems to be taken. No.
Jenny,
Okay, then I will record
Yes.
this, and essentially I'm recording a bunch of information, including like all the conversations I've been recording and stats and shit, just so I can send it to the police at some point and be like, what's wrong with you fucks?
Sure.
hold on with that for a second, Diogenes. Jenny, what organization has access to the cherubs? Or cherubim,
Well,
or whatever they are called.
the Mechanicus for one, the Ecclesiarchy second. Would the Administratum have cherubs, GM?
So, Miss Jenny,
Or should I roll for
how dare player characters forget information that they were told? So, roll me your intelligence with a -10, please.
that? I know that the governor had some cherubs, I think.
Well, you don't need to
Yes.
roll.
Oh, too late.
Succeeded anyway.
Yes, you know that the governor, planetary governor, paid quite a large tithe payment to the Mechanicus to get a large number of customized cherubim.
Wait.
Wait.
This was many years ago. It wasn't a recent acquisition.
The governor, he paid quite a sum for a special
Diogenes,
cherub.
when did the attacks start? Jenny?
Special, heavily customized.
When did my what start? Sorry?
When did the disappearings start? How many
I'll
years
literally just
ago
pull out
can
my
you find
data
that
slate and
out?
hold it up with the graph on it. It's like,
Can
can you
you-
read this?
What's the time it starts? When did it start?
A year and a half
I'll just sort of
ago.
point to the graph and then point to the
Year
date and
and
then
a
I'll
half
read it out loud.
ago. Okay.
And I'll say the higher it is, the more they die, and then here's the date.
Yes, I understand. Jenny, when did the governor get his cherubims?
Many, many years ago.
I suspect he might have taken some more eccentric uses for them. This is a more high. This is a better protected target than I usually take out, but I am always up for a challenge. This cannot stand. We were sent here to deal with the problem. This would also explain why the targets are rather random and the saint was taken. Why would the planetary governor give 2/5 about who the women are that he takes?
I'll probably just like naively say because it's his job.
I do not think that kidnapping and killing all the pretty ladies is the governor's job. Nevertheless, it is what I suspect he is doing. We need to get into contact with Alexa and Amanda and help, well, ask him to help us rally up a mob of zealots against the governor. I think that we have a target.
Maybe we should not go for the torches and pitchfork just yet.
I can also attempt stealth infiltration if this requires.
I don't see how assassinating the governor will aid
I
anything.
did not yet say assassinate. I can
You're
always.
going to.
Perhaps it's a contingency. I know you guys do not like me killing people at random, which is why I refrain from it. Although, to be fair, if the cherubim was capturing live women, I would have shot the women to make sure that they had to come back for more prey.
You're not making your case any better.
No, it's a completely logical decision. If prey was supposed to be alive, then died, the cherubim would have to come back and I would have been able to capture it. But yes, in the case, I can sneak in and try to find information. Probably. As long as you do not mind potential guard deaths. But then they'd be protecting a heretic anyway, so they'd have to die regardless. And yes, I am smiling behind the mask. Alright. I suggest we all get sleep. The idea is if you want to find out more data about the governor, go ahead. But I
I'll
am
just
going
sort
to
of have a bit of a grin on my face, like you know it.
Goodbye. I am going to grab some sleep. I need to be ready for potential guard duty tomorrow. I know when the gaps in my duty are. Perhaps I need to go over to the two warrior women, I shall call them. Although wait. I have sneaking suspicion perhaps the Roritas are specifically targets. Hmm. I am getting into conspiracy mode. I am getting delusional. I am lacking sleep. I should go sleep.
And with that, you all realise that it's gotten quite late. You all have shifts early in the morning, so you indeed follow Ghost's advice and rest. And that is where we will leave.
I probably wouldn't though. Just saying.
Oh, all right, Mr. Bloody Narcoleptic. Not narcoleptic. I forget the word now. My brain's turned off. We will
Insomniac.
leave... Insomniac, that's the one. Thank you, Dylan. We will leave the episode off there. So, thank you all for joining us here. I hope you all look after yourselves and take care. And as always, bye-bye for now.